Hello, ineffable being. How are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful, magical day. I want to tell you that you are a genius. You are special. You mean the world, and you are loved. Today, Today we're going to get into professional relationships. Now, this is super important. I'm not sure what your lifestyle is, what you do on a day-to-day basis, but professional relationships is something that we should all have a little bit of knowledge on. And it just so happens that apart from my personal development, my vision of life, I also carry out a corporate job where I work in a very large company that operates all around the world. And I'd like to share with you what helps me live being someone that is, living through the heart, that we can say, excuse me, y'all, that we can say, a spiritual person, although I don't associate myself with that, but that's a video for another day. But, a person living through the heart in a corporate world, in a world that perhaps emotion and feeling isn't very taken into account, where what is important, most important, is just numbers. Well, I like to tell you that the corporate world is amazing, and I think it is such a blessing, me having this job that I have, and also, sharing about consciousness and speaking about living through the heart and epigenetics and the placebo effect and how to upregulate our genes. I think the universe is setting me up for so much success because, well, let's break down the corporate world. I kind of just gave a couple of topics, right? Not very emotional, it's just very analytical. You do what you do and you get in and out. Let me tell you my perspective on the corporate world. And of course, I'm not a billionaire, nor am I a millionaire. And I probably don't have as much experience as some of you listening in the corporate world, so your perspective might be totally different, and that is exceptional, and that is more than fine. But I'd like to tell you how me being who I am deal with living and having a job in this corporate scene. Well, a couple things that I notice is that, yes, it is true that numbers is the only thing that matter. And beyond that, what I notice is that life just happens so fast in the corporate world. Like, there's no space. Like, one day, you have a certain, list, an outline of a job, and then someone else can just come in there and just tear everything up. So we can see how easily and how dynamic relationships are. If you are going to be in the corporate scene, you have to have thick skin. And today we're talking about professional relationships. Today we're talking about the corporate world in response to professional relationships. So the first thing is that I've learned, you have to have you have to have thick skin in there. Thick skin. Because one day your boss is going to be your friend, and the next day it's very easy if you're not engineering yourself, if you're not pushing your thoughts the way that you want and your emotions in the direction you want, your boss, your supervisor, your coworkers, it's going to be so easy for them to push your emotional buttons, for them to test your stress levels, your anxieties. In this corporate world, let's remember that you are really irresponsible. Like, they can just plug you in or take you out, and without a blink of an eye. And I'm not saying that people that I work with or in the corporate world do not have hearts. No, it's just, it is a cutthroat game. It's not just, you're a mom and pop. No, there's 100, if not tens of thousands of people that depend on the service of this company. So they are very quick, and we can be very quick to just make the changes that are required. So the first thing with relationships in the corporate world is have tough skin. You gotta know yourself because it's so easy to lose yourself in there. You want to make friends. You want to, be funny, and you want to have the best, you want your boss to have the best idea of you. So it's so easy for you to be a clown. It's so easy for you to be a joke. And I'm not saying like that you're a comedian. No, what I'm saying is that you're two-faced. You're one person here and you're another person there. That's one of the first things that I saw. And I walk this line constantly of, Luis, who are you? And what are you going to do? And who are you going to be in your job? So the first thing is to create yourself. Have very firm beliefs and do not let your external world, whether it be your boss or your coworkers, manipulate you or take you in a direction that you probably wouldn't want to go. For example, becoming a liar or not being trustworthy, not being able to honor your word. These are all things that are very, very important in any dimension. And what we're speaking about today can be taken to any world, because what we're talking about is relationships and having tough skin, not allowing people to affect your emotional state is the synapses of the corporate world. And it's funny because you'll find supervisors and managers and directors, and you're like, that was really your reaction? Like, that happens. And then you have people that they're amazing, and you'll find like, wow, this person is so well centered, and all of a sudden they slap you in the face and you're just left with like, whoa, did that really just come out of you? So the basis of being successful in the corporate scene and the professional scene is having the ability of controlling your emotions. That's probably the most important thing in this field. Because again, things change every single day. Your boss, your coworkers, your office, all of these things are constantly in motion because there are probably thousands, if not tens of thousands of people working in these companies. And then beyond that, you have to have respect. And a lot of respect for yourself, but then also know how to communicate. Communication is so important. I don't know if you have ever watched the Senate hearings, right? I'm talking about the White House, United States of America, and they're live on YouTube. Go watch them. Whenever they were electing the most recent Supreme Court nominee, what was her name? Judge Barrett, Amy Barrett, and other things like, deciding what they're going to do with immigration, what they're going to do with social media. But just watch these people, because one side are Democrat, the other side is Republican. It's so phenomenal, and I believe I've learned like so much about communication listening to them, because and I take what I've learned there and what I see and apply it in my corporate world, because I can have my opinion and you can have yours, but we're supposed to be able to communicate respectfully, cordially, and let you say what you have to say without lessening your opinion. Now that's like a mind fuck right there. Having my stern belief system, allowing you to speak your belief system, respecting you, giving you the space to share your belief system, and then not lessening or pointing fingers at your belief system, and then still honoring your belief system, that takes power. And that is the corporate world. These two things are the corporate world. Being able to communicate like the Democrats and the Republicans in the Senate, right? Sharing. I mean, there are like Bloods and Crips, and I hate to give this example, but I couldn't come up with a more quick one. The Bloods and Crips, we can say like they're die hard like what they are. Democrats, Republicans, they're die hard what they are, and they're not going to change what they believe. But having the respect, having the maturity to listen to someone else and allow them to speak freely without pointing the finger or bringing their belief system down, and actually supporting their own belief system and never compromising your own. That is the corporate world. And the umbrella is having the emotional maturity to withstand all of these things and not being able to get rocked. Imagine being in a fight with Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. That is what I think the corporate world is. Because you're going to hear things and you're just going to be like, wait, was that supposed to affect me? And again, we carry our emotions. We're pushing our thoughts in the direction that we want so we don't get emotionally attached. So this has just been a little bit of me sharing a little bit of my work experience, giving some back-end experience and knowledge from it, and what I do to cope, right? Ineffable being, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it brings you a little bit of insight. If you're not in the corporate world and you found some humor, some insight, then please put in the comments if you received value from this video. If you did not receive any value, then share it down in the comments. I'd like to read that as well. And lastly, put what topics you'd like for me to cover in the future. I hope to see you on the side of light. Please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and share. Goodbye.